Hey there, everyone. Today, I wanted to do this review on this InstaFire Vesta indoor space heater and stove, and it's electricity free. And how they do this is with this fan right here. You've got the cooking fuel down here, and you've got this fan, which is basically a Peltier device that you've probably seen on like wood burning stoves. That once this heats up a little bit, it turns the heat into voltage and starts running the fan. Now, this isn't going to blow across the whole room, but it is going to generate, we're going to see, I'm going to test it out and see how much this actually generates, but they do work pretty well. Now, with this, like I said, it once it heats up, inside this stove, you use these canned heat right here. With this package, they sent me 2 of these canned heat, which is 4 total, and this takes 3 of them that you put inside. Now, this is a review. They did send me this, but I requested this because I was really interested in this. And I wanted to see how this worked. So while this is something they did send me, I am going to give an honest review. And it is something that I'm really hopeful that it does work because it's just a cool device. There's a lot of different things you can do as far as heating up your home indoors. And there's only a few things you can do as far as cooking. And this one, what I like about it is just it's a purpose-built supply that it's not, tinkering around with some DIY stuff. It's purposely built for that job. And inside here, you can see it's got the grill where you put the canned heat in there. You put 3 of them. If you don't want it as hot, you can put 1, 2, or 3. But to get the maximum benefit out of this, and we're going to test this out, you want to put 3 of them in there. So I suppose what we'll do, I want to talk about how it came first, and then we'll get into the whole testing aspect of this. It came in this box right here, which has got it's padded. It was really padded. I was pretty stoked about how well this was packed because once it leaves their warehouse, you never know what happens inside a UPS or FedEx or anything like that. So I was pretty stoked to see that it was packed really well. Just in case in the the warehouses after they ship it, whether it gets bounced around on conveyor belts and stuff, that was pretty nice. So it is packed really well made. It's made out of, I'm not sure exactly what the metal is, but it's high quality. And as we do some of this testing here, we'll see how well this fan works. I'm actually going to grab some legacy foods that I have, boil some water on here, and we'll see how well or how long it takes it to bring it up to a boil and all that. As far as the fuel that comes included with this, the stuff they sell on their website, and I'll go through their website here in a second. This is a little bit more expensive than what you would get on Amazon, but the extra hot label here, I'm not quite exactly sure what that actually entails. I know there's some you can get. I've actually purchased a couple different kinds on Amazon because I want to see what the difference is between this. I purchased some really low cost. I have not a lot of faith in canned heat. We'll see. And then some Sterno canned heat, all the 6-hour canned heat. So the larger ones, not the 2-hour ones. So in a future video, I'll probably do a test and see how those work. But for this video, I'm going to go with their product, testing their product, and we'll see how everything goes. So to start off with, I'll just go through what's included in this. It comes packaged somewhat like this. You can put this grate inside, and then you tuck this in here, and then it stores that way. So it's nice and convenient. You don't have to store the whole product up like that. And then you pull that out. We'll put this grill back on. Actually, we'll keep this off for a second because I'm going to put some of that. Actually, I'm just going to throw it on there because I don't have a whole lot of room here. But I am going to throw some of this fuel in here. And what this has, it has a snuffer right here, which is basically to put these out. But also on this side right here, make sure you can see this. You can use this end right here that's got a little angle here, and pull out the tray. That way you don't have to touch this if it's hot. And in this tray is where you would put your canned heat. So I'm going to open up a couple of these right here, throw them in there. I am going to actually do 3 of these for this test because I want to see exactly how well this fan works. Now, I will be testing in a little bit in this video. I will be testing how much it heats up a room. It says on their website, and I'll just go to their website real quick before I do this. It says on their website that it'll heat a 200 square foot room. So basically, where I am now, we're probably around that. I'm probably in between 200 and 300 square feet. What I'm going to do is test the small. I'm going to go up into Lisa's art room, which is about 80 to 100 square feet, somewhere in that range. So about half of what they say here. And I'm going to measure the temperature before I start and then the temperature after I start, and about an hour afterwards, and see where we're at as far as that. Now, they do say, because this is cooking fuel, it is, I mean, it's toxic free. It doesn't give off fumes or anything, but it does burn up oxygen in the room. So you do want to leave the door open. So it's not something that you would enclose that room, or not something you'd really want to do that anyway. But in their description here, it says it comes with a 2-pack of heat fuel. Won't reveal your location, unnoticeable. Heat up a room, like I said, up to 200 square feet. Boil water, cook meals. We're going to try that as well. No power needed. I talked about the fan already. And this would be something, really good for people in smaller houses that maybe you don't have a fireplace or other options to heat indoors. For apartments, it would be really cool, something really cool to have. If it fits what you might need it for, it's a really cool product. Now, here we have the wood stove, but again, heating up a small room, I just think it's a neat product. And being the main thing for me with this was the ability to cook indoors, because there's not a lot of options when you're talking about cooking indoors. You've got the grill outside, but that could put off smoke, put off smells, and alert everybody that you're cooking stuff. Maybe it's super cold outside. You don't want to stay out there. But indoors, there's not really a lot of options. Electric plates, those little heat plates, those things take up a lot of juice. So if you're talking about a grid down situation, you're going to be using a lot of energy for one of those. There are a few different options other than just this canned heat stuff, but some of them are a little bit more expensive. And, a lot of, as preppers, we like our different options. But for this one, what you do is you just open this up here, and we'll throw 3 of these in. They also say in the user manual that if you are just putting one of these in, put it towards the front, which is closer to this fan, because you want most of the heat, the Peltier device, absorbing that heat. So if you're only using one, put it up towards the front. All right, so this one was a little tough to get open. You might want to have a pipe wrench handy for it on your. All right, so throw this third one in here. Then we'll light these. And the cool thing about this is that on the bottom here, it's got feet that keeps it off of this cloth that I have right here. We're going to see. I'm not going to let it get too hot, but I think we'll be okay. All right. Takes a little bit to get them going, but I don't know if you can see it or not, but they are burning here. So we're going to throw it back in here. Let those go. And you can kind of see, yes, they are. You can see a little bit of the flame there. But what we're going to do, we're going to go this way. Put this on there. It's got 2 clips on the front. Just hook those in, and the back slides on right there. So we'll let this go for a little bit, and then we'll see how long it takes for that fan to heat up and start moving. Then I'll get my thermometer, and we'll see about see if I can get some temperatures of this. All right, so we've been about 10 minutes now, and this is getting pretty warm to the touch. Also, I think I had it backwards. So the fan sucks in the air, doesn't blow it out. So this way, you can definitely feel, after 10 minutes, it is definitely blowing out some pretty good air. You can feel it all the way, out to here. A little bit. I think what I'm going to do is, because all I have right now is this surface area temperature thermometer, what I'm going to do is put a box in front of it and then see what the temperature of that surface goes to. So right now the temperature of this box is 86 degrees, 87 degrees. So we'll see. We'll give it a couple minutes and see what that changes to. And again, I am going to actually do this the right way, put some thermometers around a room and see. I'm just curious how this goes. One other thing too, it really isn't hot on the table actually. So that's pretty cool because you can put it down and not have to worry about it. Maybe on a wood table, maybe I'd put a couple pot holders underneath it, but you don't have to worry about that. It seems too much. Now this is after 10 minutes. We'll see after an hour or so. All right, so this has been going close to about 30 minutes now, 20 minutes on this box, and I just wanted to see. We started off at 77, and right now, make sure it's in the right, we're at around 124, 125, somewhere in that range. So it puts off, and this isn't all that scientific or anything, but I just wanted to test to see how much heat it's actually putting out. This has nothing to do with how much it's going to heat a room, but it does put out pretty good heat. As you can see with the lighter here, get that out of the way. As you can see with this lighter here, it does put off some pretty good airflow out to about there. So pretty good. Now what I want to do, I want to continue to let this run for about an hour because I want to see how much it heats up down here. And so far it hasn't done much. The temperature of this away from this is about 76 degrees. Right underneath here, where this is, you're talking about 88 degrees. So not enough to really make that big of a difference. Not enough to, catch something on fire or anything. So that's pretty cool. But I want to see what it's like after about an hour. And then we will take it up into a smaller room and see how much we can raise the temperature of that whole room. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and cook something on it real quick and just see how long it takes to boil some water and all of that. So one last thing before we take this up to the room. This does get pretty hot. The fan especially and the casing itself will get pretty hot. But it does have these handles right here that are insulated. So you could pick it up and move it if you wanted to. I don't know that I would be taking it all over the house. That to me is just a little bit risky. But if you do need to move it around, you can do that with these handles and you can't even feel anything. So, all right, so we've been going over, we're over about an hour now. And I set up a couple little thermometers like this one right here across different spots in this room. And it says 75. And we started at about 71, 72. So 3 or 4 degrees in this area right here. I've got one across the room, probably 30 feet away. It says 73, so a couple degrees. This is a larger room, though. What we're going to do is go up and test it out in the smaller room and see where, get our starting temperature and where we end. With this, I wanted to show you real quick how to put this out before we take this upstairs because I'm not going to carry this while it's on. And you also have to let it cool down. Oh, wrong side. So what you do is you take the snuffer, pull these out, and then just close these off right there. Now, one thing, and this is probably going to smell even worse now that I just turned these off. One thing you can smell, hopefully that doesn't make my smoke detector go off. You can smell the sterno in your house. So it's not like it's completely without smell. It is non-toxic though, so it's not a, it's not a big thing. But I'm going to let this cool down a little bit and then we'll move it upstairs. And then I'm also going to cook some stuff on it. So let's go do that. All right, so we're up in Lisa's art room right now. We've got this on, just turned it on. We've got a few thermometers around the room set up, and it's about 72, 73 degrees in here right now. This room is about 8 by 10, so we're gonna see how much this heats up the room in about an hour. It's only got one window, and this would be the room that we would probably go into if it was a situation where we needed to heat up a small area in an emergency situation. So let's let this run. and we'll see what this gets this little 8x10 room up to in a half an hour, and then we'll check it in at an hour. All right, so we've been on for about a half an hour now, and it takes about 10 minutes for it to heat up. So, you know, probably like 20 minutes. But we are at 74 now, so it's gone up a couple degrees. Some of these read 73, a few of them read 74. So a couple of degrees in a half an hour, a couple of degrees in 20 minutes or so. So we'll let this run a little bit longer. About another half an hour, and then we'll see where we're at there. And my thought is that even past that, it's still going to go up a little bit, a couple degrees. So after a few hours, you know, maybe 5, 6, 7 degrees. I mean, who knows? But let's go ahead and let this continue for about another half an hour, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, so we're going on about an hour here. And with these thermometers, this one closest to it says 79. Now this one over here behind the unit actually says 80. So, and then the one over there actually says about 80 as well. So I'll bet you that's where we are. So from 72 to 80 degrees in an hour in this small 8x10 room is pretty good. And I imagine it would get even hotter than that, say, after 2 hours. And again, like I said in the beginning, if you start off at a lower temperature, you're probably going to see higher increases as well. But this thing is as advertised. I mean, it works pretty well for what it does. Now, again, like I mentioned earlier, you do smell the sterno smell, but it's not overpowering. It's not bad. And as a matter of fact, it's more so when I leave the room and then I walk back into it, I can tell the difference. When I'm in here, I don't really even notice. I notice that it's hot because 80 degrees is pretty uncomfortable, but it's not bad. So the little space heater does work. So in an emergency situation, this would definitely be a cool little piece of equipment to have. So. All right, so let's cook something here with this Vesta. I've got this right here. What I'm going to do is make some refried beans, Legacy Foods refried beans. What this says is bring 1 cup of water to a boil, and then add 1.5 cups of the beans and cover and simmer for 5 minutes. So because it needs to simmer, I'm probably only going to light one of these on the end. That way, if I need to move this pot over a little bit, I can. So we'll open this up. I'll just open up this one right here. Light this up. Throw this back in there. I've already got 1 cup of water in here. So we'll throw this on, see how long this takes to heat up. And how long it takes to actually come to a boil. Then we'll add the refried beans. All right, so with one sterno lit, it wouldn't quite get up to boiling, and I kind of knew that was going to happen, but I wanted to test and see how long it would take. It took about a half an hour. It was only getting up to about 180, 185. Here in Colorado, it needs to be 198 to boil. So I turned on the other one, and we're pretty close right now to the boiling point. So what I'm going to do is put some of these refried beans in here. It says 1.5 cups of these, and then it says to simmer and cover. Now with this, I'm going to leave it just like this with 2 of these on, and if it starts to boil too much, then I will probably turn off one of the burners. So let's go ahead and get this open, and we will put in 1.5 cups. I believe this is 3 cups. I'm not real sure. Don't want that in there. That is the Legacy refried beans. See what they look like when it's done. There's 1 cup. And there's 1/2. Actually, it looks like maybe this is maybe 2 cups. So we'll go with that right there. Stir this up a little bit. Some of that water may have boiled off, evaporated as I was cooking this, but we'll see. I may need to add a little bit more water, but I'm going to go with this for right now. All right, so we're at about 5 minutes here, and I may need to add, I added more water, but I may need to finish this up on the stove. But, I mean, it looks like refried beans. I'm going to taste it here in a second as soon as it cools down, and we'll see. But for now, like I said, I may take this upstairs and doctor it up a little bit. But I figured while we're here, I might as well fry an egg and see how frying an egg works. So I'm going to do this real quick. Let this pan heat up, put an egg in there, and see how that works and how long that takes. All right, so it took just a couple minutes to melt this butter. I'll throw an egg in there and see how this cooks. And while we're at it, I'll try some of this refried beans. It needs a little bit more water, but it tastes good. It tastes just like refried beans. I'm gonna fix that up upstairs and maybe make a little egg and bean burrito. But this is cooking pretty quickly. I don't know if you can see it in there. It's cooking pretty well though. So I think maybe with boiling, using something like Legacy Foods or long-term food storage, maybe boil some water in a separate pot and then grab the amount you need and put it in there. That way you know you've got the correct amount of water to make the recipe work right. But like I said, right now it's not an emergency. Nothing's easy in an emergency. But right now I can take that upstairs and doctor it up and get it to work. Tastes fantastic though. Sell Legacy Foods over at the shtfshop.com. If you guys are interested, they have all sorts of different types of long-term food storage products. Just hit me up if you have any questions. Let me see if I can flip this egg here without destroying it. Close enough. All right, so an egg cooks basically the same as you would cook it. So I'm sure like eggs, bacon, anything that you'd cook in a pan, maybe you want to fry up some Spam or something like that. Anything you want to cook in there would cook pretty well with 2 of these sternos, possibly even just 1 of them. If you had a couple pans this size, you could put a couple on there, heat up some canned corned beef and hash or whatever you wanted to. But this works pretty well. All right, so here we have it. Some eggs and really dry fried, refried beans. But that's, so it does its job with cooking. So in an emergency, it would be fantastic. A really good option as far as cooking indoors. All right, so I went up and doctored up these beans, like I said, because this is Joe Biden's America, and I don't want to waste anything. So these are actually pretty good. And you added a little bit of water to them. It's really, really nice and consistent. And they taste just like refried beans, like you would expect refried beans to taste all by themselves. All in all, this is a cool little unit. I really like its functionality. I like how it works. I think as far as an emergency cooking option, it's really cool. It just gives you something to be able to do inside. Like I did all of this, basically made beans and eggs down in my basement on this that's got a felt lining on it, and everything is fine. I really do like the fan. As far as heating up a room functionality, it is not going to, heat up 20, 30 degrees. But in an emergency situation where any little bit helps, I think this thing is pretty cool. Similar to a space heater, but if you don't have the electricity for a space heater, this is going to basically do the same job. Sterno is a little expensive. I mean, as far as fuels go, I know there's alcohol burners and stuff like that are a little bit less expensive. The like the camp stoves, the propane and stuff is less expensive than these canned heat, but you can't cook with those indoors. This stuff you can. So I do like this I think this thing is pretty neat. And like I said in the beginning, anybody that lives in an apartment, anybody that has a small home that maybe doesn't have a fireplace or anything like that, this would be a really cool option just to have. And hopefully you never need to use it. But if it does come to some sort of grid down situation where you need to heat your room, like on their website, they say down in Texas, this thing probably came in handy for quite a few people down there. So all in all, very cool unit. The price is pretty good. I will say you can get these on Amazon, their website, or My Patriot Supply. I've seen a few different prices, so just kind of check out each one of those and figure out which one has the best price. At the time of this video, I believe My Patriot Supply has a sale going on, but you know, that may change in the future. But their website they have a whole lot of other products, and just a really cool design, really cool product. I really like it. So if you have any questions, anything like that, make sure to leave a comment below, and I can either get a hold of, or you can get a hold of them yourselves over at InstaFire, and answer any questions you might have, anything I didn't mention in this video. But with that, take care and prepare, everyone. We'll talk to you all later.